Welcome to Critelli's Furniture in St Catharines, and they have a very special event happening tonight. It's called the Stickley Roadshow. I want to introduce you to Mike Daniel. Hey, Mike, how are you?
All right.
Mike Daniel is from Stickley. Came in from Syracuse?
Syracuse. Yeah. The Orange are doing okay this year.
Ah, right on. So that's good.
Not bad.
And when we did a little pre-interview on the phone, and I admitted something. I don't know Stickley. Okay? Somebody at home right now might not know Stickley.
Yeah. And I grew up with it, so I balanced you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long have you worked for Stickley for?
44 years. Yeah, and my great uncle was working for Stickley before that for 30 years. So
because they're based in Syracuse?
Yeah, I was a child sitting on Stickley chairs. So I've known this company, and then I came along and I went to the factory as a to get a part-time job for the summer because I had heard that the new owners had bought it because all the Stickley brothers were gone. And the new owners were Alfred and Amini Audi from New York City. They were the largest Stickley dealers in the country. And they had a passion for Stickley. The company had gone down to like 26 employees. It was going out of business. And they bought it and resurrected it.
What makes it so special?
There's a few different reasons why Stickley is special. Design is certainly paramount. Construction is superior to anything that you would see in the furniture market today. This is the kind of construction that like home and custom cabinet makers try to emulate. So the construction of the pieces. The finish. We're still hand rubbing finishes and creating a finish that just has a luster to it. And it gets better with age.
Over the time that you've worked there, I think the way people are buying furniture and having furniture in the home has changed.
Oh, certainly has. I mean, the idea that in decades in the early 20th century, when you bought a set of furniture, you were buying it for your life.
And passing it on to your children.
And your children.
And your children's
yeah,
children.
That's the way it was, because fine furniture was expensive. And Stickley was expensive. It was some of the most expensive furniture in the 20th century. So you bought it with the intention of holding onto it for a long, long time.
We're spending the day here at Critelli's because tonight they have the Stickley Roadshow, and you're hosting this roadshow.
Yes.
And is it just kind of telling the story of the company through time, as well as telling stories about pieces that are in kind of the Stickley area here?
The roadshow started when years ago people would come to the factory, and the Audi family would say, "Mike, can you take some of these folks through the factory so they could see the guys working?" And it was comfortable for me because these older guys, they worked with my great uncle, so they knew me and I knew the customers, and so I would bring people through there, and that's kind of what I want to do tonight.
And that's what we will do even today, because we're going to talk authenticity. We're going to talk construction. We're talking restoration and care with Stickley, getting ready for the Stickley Roadshow here at CRITELLI'S Furniture in St Catharines tonight. We are getting you set for the Stickley Roadshow happening tonight right here at Critelli's in St Catharines. A very special guest tonight. And we're getting a little sneak peek this morning. This man right here, Mike Daniel, from Syracuse, made the trip in. He's going to be hosting the roadshow. You must love those, huh?
Yeah, they're fun.
Telling tales.
And I never know exactly what it's going to turn out like. Really, the people who come, they determine the content. They really do.
Because they want stories of various pieces of furniture?
Stories. I've had people bring pieces in. They have no idea what they are. They brought pieces of a piece of furniture in. Pieces that they were going to throw it away. They found it in a cabin up in the Michigan area. They said, "What is this? It's got this little mark on the bottom, and it looks like it's part of the word Stickley." And that gets into the marks and the brands and the decals
and the authenticity. Okay, so how do you know what is a Stickley piece of furniture?
They're looking at. Well, I looked at the piece and I said, "This is an early Gustav Stickley piece of furniture." And they said, "Well, how can you tell?" Well, there's a mark. And there's a whole study of marks and brands and decals that are published out there in magazines, and you have to kind of know which one you're looking at, because there were 5 different Stickley furniture companies
Because was there 5 brothers?
Well, yeah, 5 brothers.
Okay.
See, even I get confused.
Right.
5 brothers, 4 different Stickley furniture companies, but actually there was a secondary one. It gets real complicated.
Did they get along, or did they kind of break off on their own? You're like, I know how to do it better than you do, brother.
Yeah, at one point they all worked together, but they all found opportunities in slightly different areas of upstate New York.
So you could tell what brother
Made
what piece?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Like something like this.
Yeah. That piece was only designed by Leopold Stickley when he was working with his brother John George. So this is L&JG Stickley Furniture, and we reissued this piece. It's the model 711 sideboard, and it came out of Leopold's factory and John George's factory, but it was designed by a man named Peter Hansen. And Peter Hansen was very, very much influenced by the work of Frank Lloyd Wright.
And is that the authenticity piece?
Yes, our reissued pieces have what's called the co-joined label. And that metal label is authentic to the last label that was used when the companies, Gustav Stickley's company, Leopold and John George's company merged together in the 1916. And so that decal is the last authentic decal that was used back then. So we're still using it.
So it's going to be a night of tales with Mike. And I've known Mike. We talked on the phone yesterday. I've got to know you today. He's got many tales. There's a lot of stories up in that noggin of yours.
And if you want to hear the story about what happened to that piece of furniture that came out of that place in Michigan.
Right. Was it Stickley?
I don't know.
Oh, is this just a tease?
Oh, no. I'll tell the story.
Oh, you got to come tonight to the Stickley Roadshow here at Critelli'S. Let's tackle construction, because how you construct your furniture is really something, and these parts are kind of show off of how Stickley Furniture is really put together when we come back.
Yes.
When we come back to Critelli'S Furniture next half hour on Morning Live. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, look. Tim's sitting down on the job again. Not true. I'm actually working. I am testing out this Stickley Furniture here at Critelli'S Furniture, getting you ready for the Stickley Roadshow happening tonight. Back with Mike Daniels, who is going to be hosting the Roadshow. And we talked about the history. We talked about the authenticity of Stickley. Now the construction. Because I think that's kind of what sets you guys really apart. Right?
Sure. You've got this iconic line of furniture that antique collectors and people were just relishing that was made at the turn of the century. And Stickley was known for its authentic, fine craftsmanship. Now, here we were, the same company, in 1989, and we're going to reissue this furniture that's been out of production for 75 years. And a lot of people said, you can't possibly be making it as good as the originals.
Well, because that's the saying.
Everybody says it. You can't make it
not as good as it used to be.
Not as good as it used to be. So we had our reputation on the line. We were marking these were Stickley pieces that were going to be made. So we came up with elements of Stickley construction, and we celebrated all of the old construction techniques, like the
what is this?
Quadrilinear post, 4 pieces of quarter-sawn white oak glued around a central core. That is the leg of any of the large.
Oh, you can even see the post right in the middle there.
Yeah, you can see it there. So the quadrilinear post was done by Leopold Stickley, one of the brothers who had his company. Gustav Stickley, he never did the quadrilinear post. The chair that you were sitting in is a Gustav Stickley design. So in 1900...
competition between these brothers.
Yeah, it was there. Sure, it was. It was palpable. But in 1900, when that chair was built, it did not have a quadrilinear post. Matter of fact, it had veneer.
What's the life of a chair like this?
Oh,
like it lasts forever?
Oh gosh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Let's come over here because I want to show something else. Some of the drawers in the construction and the uniqueness of this.
Yeah.
What's this here?
See, so construction carried out a story beyond the arts and crafts movement. Many people know Stickley as arts and crafts, but after arts and crafts, in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, Stickley made colonial revival furniture, and that introduced a whole other realm of construction elements. The side-hung guide. Like this drawer is suspended on a wooden mortise, a wooden tenon here. Yeah. Excuse me, a mortise. Here's your wooden guide, and this drawer is numbered. So this is number 124. That drawer is 124. Every drawer is hand fit. the drawer never touches bottom. So there's no need for nylon glides, no need for pieces of plastic. There's no metal rollers here. These are hand fit by the guys in our shop. And the drawers are so strong. I mean, people.
Can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it?
It's a small piece, but I think you can.
Can I do it?
I don't know. Give it a shot. Well,
it's a little bit. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
It's a small piece. Yeah, you can stand in the drawers.
But like, how many other pieces could you?
Well, I mean, nobody's going to put that kind of weight in it, but the suspension of the side guide. And then these tenons. This is a tenon. This is not applied to the front of this post. So this rail behind here is coming through here. And if you looked around the other side of it, you would see that it's pinned with a wooden dowel. So there's a wooden pin here. So a pinned mortise and tenon. How is that post ever going to come apart from here? And this was an original construction feature. The other thing is the drawer fronts are made of one solid piece of wood, not glued up little pieces. Okay. And these are the kinds of things that we like to talk about because this is really what you're paying for.
Okay. And tonight, you can come and see Mike because the Stickley Roadshow happening right here, Critelli's Furniture. Let's go restoration care. Can we come back for our last one?
We can do that.
Kind of show you how it does stand the test of time.
Yeah.
When we return on Morning Live. So the last thing that we want to tackle to get you ready for the Stickley Roadshow tonight here at Critelli's Furniture is restoration and care. And the care that's been put into this toolbox, this has seen many moons. Back with Mike Daniel, who is going to be heading up the Stickley Roadshow. How old is this toolbox?
So when I went upstairs into my grandmother's attic and I found this, I said, "Grandma, what is this?" She says, "That's your Uncle Jim's toolbox." And the older guys at the shop remember him carrying it in too. And then as I continued in the shop, I became the guy who used to do the touch-ups and the repairs of furniture, like nicks and dents and scratches. You know, when a piece of furniture is brand new, there are still things that need to be touched up, just fine detail things. But then when pieces got out to people's homes, I would get a phone call. The company would call and they say, somebody just dropped, a fork, or they just dropped a chafing dish on their dining room table. Mike, can you go out and fix it? So I would go out to the home and I would repair it and I would fix it. And I remember so many great stories about what happened. This one about a young girl, the babysitter. The babysitter was there. They wanted to make this paper mache dish. And as a result, they set the paper mache dish on a shelf on the Stickley piece. And it made a white mark on the shelf. And the mom came home and she was livid that the babysitter would do this. And look, you ruined my piece of furniture. And I came and I looked at it and I says, oh my gosh, this is not as bad as you think it is. I minimized that damage so much. And then I said, where's the bowl? Where's the paper mache bowl? And the woman came and got it. And I said, you should have your daughter finish painting this. And when the paint dries, I know the perfect place for you to put this. You set it right on that spot that's on the shelf. And then when your daughter gets older and she has little kids, you could tell the story about how that mark got there. See, because that makes furniture unique to a family. Actually,
is the story that's
things
that's
that happen
down,
to it.
right?
Things that happen to it.
That little nick. If it does get a nick, it's not the end of the world.
I know.
Because you look at that nick that little Sally did when she was 4, and Sally grows up and she goes wherever.
Well, everybody's watched the Antiques Roadshow, and everybody's their ears pop up when what's the story here? That's what they're asking. What's the story?
What did you say when you buy a new piece of Stickley? That's just the start?
That's the beginning.
That's the beginning of the journey?
We're going to make it as nice as we can, but you're going to live with it. And the evidence of life, reading the newspaper on it, kicking your feet up on it, not abusing it, just the evidence of living with the furniture, the wear and tear. Grandpa's arms on here wearing this down.
Or the lamp, Grandma's lamp that sits on the end of the table, and you have those marks.
Yeah, the little marks, and it's kind of like, okay, well, that's what she did. I like things that happened, like when my daughter took the fork, and she's jamming the fork in the dining room table, and we didn't catch her on. And, I mean, she's just being a kid. And she's jamming the fork. I never repaired them so that you couldn't see them. I touched them up. I used some of the materials that I have here and I colored it a little bit, but I could tell you where those marks are, and they're there. But when she grew up, she did 2 tours in Iraq, and when she was away, I would put my hand right there, and that was our connection. that's what makes a piece of furniture so valuable. It's not the object, it's the story that you have when a fine piece of furniture is built so well, it goes from generation to generation to generation. So under the bottom of the table, I wrote the story. See the fork marks under? Those were Emily when she was 4 years old. And that's what people should be thinking when they buy fine things. Not to keep it perfect, but to live with it. And then if something happens, touch it up. You know, there's little wax sticks that you can color in. You know, I hate pieces that have to get totally refinished. I know that happens sometimes. Just don't put a pizza box on it.
Stories like that are the ones that Mike's going to be telling. He knows a lot of stories because we've only got to a few of them, but we talked yesterday and we talked a lot more off camera. So the Stickley Roadshow happening tonight.
Great.
Right here at Critelli's Furniture.
Fun.
Thanks for the chat.
Happy to do it.
Cheers.